Let me just distinguish a conciliation board from an arbitration board. This is not a system that provides for mandatory arbitration. Nothing we could do would result in a binding report unless the two parties agreed, either in advance that our report would be binding, which they did not, or following our recommendations chose to accept it. Not because we forced them to, but because they saw the sense of it. The Conciliation Board, in meeting with the parties, has a duty to do whatever it can, both to learn about the dispute and to try to bring the parties together. The monetary issue was difficult because although the Federation sought more and its members sought more, the Government Trustee Bargaining Committee, which relies upon the government for funding, was within a limited mandate that was made very clear from the outset. We did the best as a conciliation board to bring the parties together within those available parameters. I believe that as a result of the input we got, we were able to put together a series of recommendations that the parties should be able to accept. They were not able to agree on those terms during our process. However, they are now included in our report, and that Conciliation Board report, both the recommendations and our rationale, are available to you. On the eve of issuing the report to the Education Relations Commission, we saw fit as a board, and we were unanimous both in our recommendations and in this decision, that we would put to both sides the terms of the terms that we were recommending to each of them for inclusion in a collective agreement. We said to them, this is very recently, first of all, we see no possibility of agreement on any terms more favorable to either party. These recommendations, or these terms, represent the best agreement possible given the circumstances and the interests of the parties. We were unanimous and clear in that view. Secondly, in our view, entering into an agreement now should be a very high priority for both parties in order to bring certainty to this dispute, which has now gone on for almost 2 years, and in our view, that is too long. It is a volatile economy. Ensuring certainty in teacher bargaining, in the ability of school trustees to administer their school boards within the terms of the collective agreement. Complicated matters that need to be resolved. Having given the parties our recommendations, and that strong recommendation from the board, we asked the parties if they wish voluntarily to enter into a collective agreement, and we frankly urged them to do so. After each side considered our recommendations, they chose to then enter into a collective agreement. I believe that is a bold and courageous step on both sides. It is, I think, made on both sides to bring certainty to this difficult dispute. In any conciliation, and particularly in this one, I try to say to parties, your natural inclination is to think, well, what were our list of demands and what did we get? Well, what was our maximum budget allowance and what did we spend? In each case, the real question, in my mind, and I have some 40 years experience in educational labor relations, the real question is, what's on offer now and what's your next best alternative? And in this situation, the next best alternative for both sides involves a very uncertain confrontation, whether it's a strike or a lockout, whether it is a legislative solution. It is something beyond the control of both parties. And in our view, that next available option was not attractive for either party, as signing a collective agreement voluntarily on the basis of our recommendations was a better alternative. Each organization is represented by a bargaining committee that dealt with difficult issues. It's very easy to sit back and say, oh, well, we should get this, or we should get that, or we can't give this, or we need that, at a distance. You see here two groups of people that grappled with these issues over many, many hours, have absorbed many documents, have listened and considered and worked with many arguments. These were not easy issues, particularly the time, the teacher time issue, which is so important in scheduling schools and so important to teachers. We've worked out a process with a task force to try and grapple with that. The parties have done much good work, but we think that is the best available solution on that issue. The monetary settlement, we recommended it to both sides, and I was pleased to see that they each decided that they could accept it, thus forming a coalition.